Welcome to the KX Country Clubhouse. I'm Derek Mann from KX 96 on behalf of KX Country. Today, welcoming Keith Urban. Keith, first of all, congratulations on your newest single, Straight Line. We've just recently started playing that here in KX Country. Now, it's the song that starts your album High. Why did it feel right to start the record off with that song?
I think albums for me have always been like writing a set list to play live, and
Okay.
how would I want to open an album is usually how I want to open a show, and it's just come out swinging.
I love that. I love that so much. Now, you obviously, as some people may know, you scrapped a whole album before even creating High. What made you decide to start over? Like, how did that kind of shift your creative process into High?
I always make records very loose. They're very spontaneous in the songs I decide to do. The environment's very loose, and there's a good spontaneous spirit about what I do. And I thought, oh well, maybe I need a little more discipline and structure.
Yeah.
So I made a record with that in mind, and it ended up being quite linear. It was kind of a one note thing, and so I went, all right, that doesn't work. That's why I've never done that before. Go back to just being free and playing and creating whatever we want to do. And Straight Line was one of the first songs that came out of that feeling.
So was that moment, I guess you would say, maybe about it feeling so straight line or linear? Was that the kind of thing that sparked the idea for the direction of what became High?
Yeah, the parallels between me being in a place that felt a bit small, limited, and when I use the word monotonous, I mean just a sort of missing broader, bigger colors. And I thought, boy, if that doesn't sum up a lot of people's life who have umpteen jobs and they got to get up at some ungodly hour of the morning and they work all day and then they do it Monday, Friday, Tuesday, just like every day, and the alarm clock goes off and it's just this grind that so many people are in. And at some point you're like, God, I've lost a lot of color and excitement in my life. What happened to me?
Yeah.
And so the song, I felt that was happening to me in my own small little way. And so Straight Line was a sort of a call to liberating, getting out from under the dark cloud and reclaiming your life again.
I love that. I love the vibe. But okay, so I need to know, was the scrapped album The Speed of Now Part 2?
No, it was called 615.
Okay.
Yeah. Maybe I should have called it Part 2 and it would have worked.
Well, see, I was wondering where the Part 2 was, because I feel like we kind of jumped here a little bit.
Well, boy, if we've learned anything from sequels, Derek, you can do them 30 years later. So I think.
Okay. A little bit of an Easter egg there, maybe. I can totally relate to that whole scrapping an idea thing, though, because like the last time I scrapped an idea for something, it was like when I was writing the interview questions for this. So I can relate to that and starting over.
There you go.
You've also just kicked off the High and Alive World Tour, and obviously it ties into the album name. But with a name like that, I feel like it brings a lot of energy to maybe your live show. Is there something that so far about being back on the road has really reminded you why you love going out and touring?
Oh, the crowds. The energy in the crowd every night, and just being able to bring this 2+ hours of utter relief to a lot of people. And yeah, it's like a vacation. It's a one-night vacation where you get to just leave your life and just forget all about it for a few hours. Who doesn't want to do that?
I love the idea of that. I've never heard someone describe it that way, but that's totally what it is, to like escape, get lost, and feel like that. Obviously, you'll be making your way here to Canada, which we look forward to. You've had 25 #1 hits in Canada, so clearly Canada loves you. But what is something that you love about being on tour or visiting Canada?
The connection and the feeling of belonging. I had that from the very first time I ever played in Canada, and I think it was probably maybe over Vancouver way, Calgary, or someone long time ago. And I remember having played a lot of shows down here early on, and then going to Canada and feeling this kindred spirit, which really has to do with the sort of Commonwealth connection. I mean, I'm from Australia, and between Canada and Australia, at the time we had the same queen, now same king, and yet we've also got our own individual thing, and we absorb a lot from America and Europe and everywhere. So I think I had so much in common with Canadians right from the beginning.
Yeah, I love that. Well, like I said, you've got the full Canadian kind of leg coming up later this year, but you are doing your one-off in Toronto coming up June 21st. We are so looking forward to it. I appreciate you taking the time today, and I look forward to that show. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Derek. Good to talk to you, man.